Hey there, Fresh Takes. Mike, Brock. This is Kyle Aber, the voice of Kamina from Gurren Lagann. I'm glad you like the show, because that's the way Team Gurren rolls. Really cool, and congrats on wrapping up Season 1. And move forward into the future and pierce the heavens with your drill. Now let's see you grit those teeth.
All right. I'm going to mention one small fact that I have to get out of the way before I forget. So there was a time when in a blog post, one of the Gainax producers mentioned a fact about this episode. And it's actually an episode, I guess, that made it so that this fact about this episode that made sure it didn't play on certain people's players, actually. Normal anime episodes or finales like that have around 12,000 frames. This one has 22,000 frames in it.
Jesus.
And it's the same length as the normal anime episode. So it has nearly twice the amount of frames in the same amount of minutes.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's why it looks so different in certain moments where you're like, holy shit, that looks good. It's because there's a lot going on. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so this episode 15, is called I Will Head Towards Tomorrow. The last of the divine generals falls, and the city of Teplin collapses, revealing a gunman of gigantic proportions. Simon and Nia struggle to pass through it in order to confront her father, the Spiral King himself. Now, here's a moment of putting two and two together. He's called the Spiral King, and what is Gurren Lagann's energy based on?
Spiral energy, one might say, Mike.
Yeah. So something I told Brock off air. We've been talking a lot about how the end of season 1 feels like a series finale, and I told him, oh, so this is what you meant, because we don't see an opening, and as far as I remember, I don't remember seeing the eye catches either. I could be wrong.
There might not have been. No. I got to go back to remember. I don't remember if there's eye catches in this one either. Go ahead.
Even if there was, like, the fact that I don't remember.
Nope, there is eye catches. Because you see Lagann in one of them. Yep, there is eye catches. Yep. Okay,
but to my point,
yeah,
so much happens in this episode that you'll, like, there are details that you'll easily miss. Because they throw a lot of big moments out there. I just want to cut right to the chase.
Okay.
The Spiral King has the same energy as Gurren Lagann because they're basically the same mech.
Yep.
Only Lord Genome's mech is scarier.
Very. I've been telling you that my favorite mech design is not, well, my favorite non-Gurren mech design hasn't been shown in the show yet. You just saw it. Lagann is amazing.
Yeah, it's like this dark purple, like dark black and purple, and it's like it's borderline nightmare fuel.
Yep. Oh,
and it's awesome.
Yes, it is. Oh, that thing is scary. I love it.
Also, something we talk about a lot about what makes a great villain is if they see themselves as the hero of their own story. And boy, howdy, does that describe Spiral King in a nutshell.
What did he say? I am the savior of mankind.
Yeah, sure. If you want to call burying all humans underground while the beastmen take over.
Yep. God, I can't wait till you watch season 2. So much shit gets answered. Go, keep going.
What else? Because I just the whole thing, like the whole thing about Nia wanting to confront her father, despite literally everyone saying, "Are you sure?" I don't think that's a good idea. And then Simon's like, "Hey, Nia asked, so I got to do it."
Yep. And Liron, Rossiu, now, when a lady has her mind set to something, it's on a good man to make sure it sees through.
God, Liron is the best.
He gets like one moment every episode.
Even if he's not really like ever the focus, he always has that one line.
Yep. I can't believe they got Steve Bloom of all people to do it. It was just, I never would have went, we need this transsexual mechanic wonder person. Steve Bloom? I think Steve Bloom would be good. Wolverine and like Spike for Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, let's get him. Oh, he nailed it? Of course, because it's freaking Steve Bloom.
He can do anything.
Guys are ridiculous. Oh man. Yeah, there's plenty of moments like this in the latter half of the second season. But the moment when they first try getting in and Gurren's drill can't get through, so he swats them away. And then all of a sudden it's just like, no, we're going to get in. We're going to take everything we have and we're going to drill right through that sucker. And then freaking Rap as a Man's Soul starts blaring in the background and the jet engines of the Gurren start flying and they just keep powering through with just Simone and Rossiu in the front, just powering. And then all of a sudden you see is Daika and Liron's face. I believe it's Liron's face. And they're just like, all right, fire the second drills. Boom! Start firing through. You just hear it screaming more. Fire again! It just blazes through. Oh, it's just the best. It's so much with so little. It's like you put up a challenge. We're gonna throw it down your throat. And it's my favorite thing in shows ever, where pure amounts of teamwork are just put to the test. And when Gurren is at its best, it's literally just 24 minutes of that, and it's just.
Mm-hmm. Going back to the famous last words of, so where the hell do you go from here?
If you've got questions, ask away.
That question comes up every time a scene feels like it's a series finale. Like when Liron says, all right, Gurren, time for one last mission.
Yep. For one last job. And then they blow it up. They blow up Gurren.
That's how you know this is the end. This is the end.
And man, the end. I could gush over all of this, but it's just like, yeah, we finally get to the point of where we have the interaction with Genome. My favorite frame of Genome's existence ever is when Nia goes, "Father," and they look on the camera. I'm not gonna be able to recreate this, but he's just
he's like, oh,
smiling and waiting for them to come. He's just like, I am not in the slightest scared of you.
It's like, you. Oh yeah, you're a person.
Yeah, it's literally the Thanos. All right, fine, I'll do it myself. I'm sick of sitting in the chair moment. Anything he's about is big. He's probably bigger than what Thanos is. Not gonna lie. Simon may be 12, but Simon's still at his kneecaps. I was at least 4 foot something when I was 12. Oh.
Now, speaking of fine, I'll do it by myself. That at one point means without his gunman.
He fist fights Lagann.
We've almost come full circle in terms of escalation. Like it's not enough to go from the head of a gunman that can't move its neck to, well, he's not a human, he's a beast man, but still,
yes,
a beast man, like engaging in fisticuffs with a gunman.
And this is a spoiler. He's not a beastman.
That makes sense.
I won't say that. I will get that out there. He is normal. As normal as Lord Genome can be called, he's fist fighting a machine. He is normal. And before we get too far to that, we skipped over one giant thing that happened.
Oh. Okay.
Viral is now immortal.
Okay, yeah, like I said, he's a cockroach. You can't kill him.
He's literally made to be that now. And the fact that while they're fighting, Genome goes, I'm sorry I misled you, but I didn't give you power in hopes that you were going to beat him. He point blank says that there's not a beastman on that he's made that has a hope in hell to beat someone who has acquired the power of the spiral. So he's just like, he knew this wouldn't they wouldn't stand a chance if someone finally did it. That's why he kept them underground. If someone can't get the spiral, he can't beat them.
Oh my god, I'm just realizing this guy is Frieza.
He's not far off. He's not far off.
And the reason it's easy to make that comparison is because Dragon Ball is a 30 bordering on 40-year property.
Yeah.
So, and we know that Gurren Lagann has been honest about, ripping all the tropes and cliches from anime.
Yes. And it's very hard when it gets to this point when you're an anime, if you're going to try and get away with the fact that you weren't somewhat influenced by something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the animation has been around for, forever.
Exactly.
But anime got big in the 80s. So you can tell where a lot of their influences come from.
Yep. And it imploded westward in the 90s, and then it was just freaking everywhere.
Yep. By 2007, anime had its own anime had its own clout.
Yes, exactly. And it wasn't like when they had when Gainax made Neon Genesis back before it had any way of getting syndication somewhere, and it just got lost in infernal nowhere. Like, you couldn't get this stuff across. Now it's, you make something, everyone knows it's coming out every season, and it didn't used to be like that.
And yeah, we've come a long way since then.
Yeah, and especially we're talking like, hold on. It came out in 95.
Yep. So this was 12 years later.
This is 12 years later. So they've been around since the boom had started happening. They are well in the trenches of knowing what all goes on and what all happens. They're fully aware of the history and them being a part of it. So when they make something, they know full well what their pedigree is and what they're pulling from. And man, that freaking fight, even before we get to the fight, or the fist fight part of that fight.
Yeah.
When they're fighting along and he's like, where he doesn't have anything left, and you get to hear Simone go full Kamina to Rossiu. It's like, everybody back there believes in me. Please have faith in me. And he goes through all that. And then when he's just like, all right, use Lagann impact on him. And when Rossiu, he ejects from Rossiu, and all Genome says is, go away. Boom! He slams him almost through the floor. And then the impact obviously doesn't work and all that, but then they go to that fist fight. And I mentioned that last episode. My favorite Nia moment in that episode is I am the head cook of Team Gurren. My favorite one in here, and it's my second favorite Nia moment, period, because there's one that happens in the second season. If people believe in you is what gives you strength, and I believe in you with every fiber of my heart.
She is so wholesome.
I was like, Nia, you are too good for any show. No one deserves you, and I'm glad you're in Gurren. Oh.
Can you imagine if they ripped out Nia and put her in some other anime?
I don't know. I don't even know. But I would watch it just to watch Nia. I don't know if I'd watch the rest of it, but I'd watch it for her. Now, I will say, there is you need to look up. Oh boy, does she have a last name? Her name is Fiona. And she's from. Do I have those DVDs up here? Blu-rays up here? I do. She gives off very similar energy to Fiona from Zoid's New Century or Chaotic Century.
Oh, okay. I think I know who you're talking about, actually.
Yeah, she has very much. She's a lot more language lost than Nia is, because she didn't know what English was when she first came out. But
the character's name is Fiona LZ Lynette.
LZ, okay, gotcha, got it. I forgot if she had a last name or not, because they find her in a tube underneath a temple. But yeah, that is my version of like her in another show would be. But like, yeah, man, trying to explain her in Zoids will take a while, so we're not going there.
But
yeah.
Bottom line is, Nia is the greatest.
Nia is the greatest, and I'm glad our baby is in this show, because this might be blasphemous for me to say. What is her voice actress's name again?
Hinden Welch.
Hinden Welch. I think I like her better in this than I do with her as Starfire.
Yeah.
And she's so good as Starfire. But that's just like another thing where it's like they knew exactly who they wanted when they hired her to do this English voice for her, and they nailed it. But yeah, what else do we got? Flattens it. Like you said, we've covered the fights, we've covered the awesome moment leading up to it. We're down Die Guns, we're about down Die Guns and the Die Gurren. Everybody blew up the main chunks of Teplin. Everybody is safe on the ground, and we're at the climax of that fight. Simo looks like he's done, but going back to base principles. Big man, little man. That's the end fight. He takes the core drill and literally blows a hole in the middle of Genome.
I need to go back to what you said about Lord Genome.
Okay.
You
that
said
he's human?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, well, question one is,
yes.
Is this the last time we see him?
Are you okay with spoilers?
Well, you've already revealed he's not a beast man.
Yes. Do you really want to know? Because I will answer you honestly if you do want to know.
On second thought, don't answer that.
Okay. Okay.
Because but that leads to my recurring question of, where the hell do you go from here?
Well, I think the thing that we should think about before we go on is one of the most tasty last statements said by a character ever in a season finale. When the land comes to overflow with 1,000,000 apes, the moon shall become hell's messenger and destroy the world of the spiral.
Okay, that's That's a tease.
I was like, what in the actual hell are you talking about? And then Genome just goes, and I will say, to add to the trope, you do not see his body.
Okay.
So you do what you want. I will not answer if you see him or not. But we never get to remember, we never do get to see a definitive answer on him. And after that, as we go, keep in mind that Nia is worried about her father. Simone is happy that he's done. Rossiu is effing terrified at what he just said.
Boy, that's a lot.
Yeah, all three of them had very different reactions to that, and that is a giant setup for the next season. But that is one detail I had to make sure was well aware. Rossiu is the most terrified person on the planet by the look on his face when Genome says that. But yeah, and then I love how also what I want to say that we're going to add 2 more tropes to the list here that get checked off. 1, the power source got killed, so everything else stops fighting.
Yep.
And also, it's one of my favorite moments is when the theme song of the anime plays in the series finale, or the technically season finale here, is when they're like, where is everybody? Where are they? And then you start hearing Sororio Days playing, and freaking the Daiger or Gurren is coming back. That is a giant anime trope where it's like, we won the theme song of the show that never plays other than the intro's playing. And you didn't hear it because they skipped the intro just so they could play the intro at the end.
Now that's clever.
Yes, I love it. It's a big anime trope that happens a lot, and it happens in Zoids quite a bit actually. But yeah, do you have other than Genome? Do you have any questions?
I think I'm good because
you don't want to spoil yourself.
Yeah, I'm good for now.
Okay.
I guess because this is technically the end of a season, we should wrap up our overall thoughts on the show so far.
You have the table on that one because you don't need to hear mine.
Okay, so before we're going into Gurren Lagann, I had some expectations. Although I haven't finished the show until this year, this show has been the talk of the town when it when you talk to anyone who's an anime fan, they mention things like a great balance of comedy and action. It takes the piss out of all the anime tropes, and it escalates a lot to the point where I'm almost certain that the reason why the next episode is a compilation episode is just so Gainax had room to breathe so they could reinvent the show by episode 17.
Mm-hmm.
And a little bit of spoiler, the episode is called You Don't Know Anything.
This enemy, the thing that they have to deal with next comes out of nowhere. But anyways, that is the next season. Keep going.
Yeah. It only took me a few episodes for me to fall in love with the series. Pretty much as soon as we meet Viral in episode 3, That's when I declared that this is one of the greatest anime of all time.
So good. Yes.
I've loved pretty much every character they introduce that I'm supposed to like. I think the Black siblings are a great supporting group. I may not have loved Rossiu's debut, but I recognize that as one of the more important episodes.
Yeah.
Because it leads to more reinforcements for everyone.
Yes.
Rossiu kind of becomes a safety net for Kamina, because we know he can't last forever.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kamina, his relationship with Simone is one of the best like brother hoods that I've seen since maybe even Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, and that is a high bar. If you are anywhere near the Elrics, you're doing something correctly.
But yeah, the mech battles are awesome. The mech designs are great. Like even just like the rules of this universe, that like where the gunmen can only come out during the day, they retreat by night. There's just so much to this world, and I know it comes off like a parody, but even with that in mind, it still treats its characters with respect. It treats the world with respect.
Yes.
And it's just an overall enjoyable experience.
Oh yeah.
And keep in mind, I'm just talking about the first 15 episodes.
Yes. So much happens, and technically that shows little amount of time. I think that whole time period is maybe 2 months.
Yeah, about.
Yeah. And it's not a spoiler in a big sense, but season 2 is 7 years later. So you get to see, like, when you see how far they've gotten in those 7 years, it makes that seem like that not that big of a stretch, that this much has happened in 2 months. But yeah, that we are so damn close to everything I want to talk about with this show, so I have to keep restraining myself. Oh man, keep going.
I don't know what else to say. Like,
yeah,
is
it living up to how much people you cannot come to comprehend the amount of time that I speak about the show to people, Mike and everybody else that is in my life. My roommate is probably dead sick if you're going to talk about Gurren, but he knows how much it means to me on an emotional level and how much it's meant to me as a person with like self-esteem issues and all this stuff like that. It means the world to me. So I have to ask, and if it doesn't, that is fine. So far, has it met up to how much I brag about it?
It does.
Okay. Okay.
But I'll be honest, I didn't feel it quite as much until we got to episode 7.
Okay.
Or it like the 7 or 8 pair, like that, because that's where Simone and Kamina's relationship really comes to a head, and that's when it clicked. Like that's when you know that this show was something special. It wasn't just your bog standard mech anime, and it wasn't just a parody of mech. It was if Edgar Wright made an anime.
I believe you have said that before.
I have.
And that is so true. The way the angles and everything are shot and the little itty bitty moments with everything. Oh, man. Now that you described that, Leron is such an Edgar Wright character. It's ridiculous. Now that I'm thinking about it with that descriptor behind it, that is someone I could see in a freaking Edgar Wright film.
Right?
That is very, very true. But yeah, you guys don't need to hear me gush anymore. The last 2 episodes I've taken over a little bit more from Mike than I need to, so I'm basically gonna like get myself borderline a shot collar when we get towards the second end. I will leave you with this detail so that I don't forget about it when we start getting to it. This was another thing that was leaked, supposedly. And so I don't get this fact wrong. That originally, this appeared somewhere in 2007 when someone had given accurate spoilers ahead of time for scripts and stuff in the show, released a fact that when you see this, it will become very apparent. And when I told you when we're going to do these in chunks, we're going to watch the last 6 episodes together because, yeah, there's going to be a lot. But that supposedly to avoid the mishap that they had with I can't think, with Neon Genesis, where they ran out and they had to change the art style and they had to have less frames so it didn't look as good. It was still good, but that they supposedly saved 40% of the show's overall budget for the last 5 episodes? 5 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That they did that, known as the Garlock arc. Noria's budget, they found the shocking, stated forcing the typical thing in the final anticipation is that was basically to avoid it running out. And there's another fact that they openly admitted in an interview later that if they would have made another episode, that they would have bankrupted the company. They would have gone broke after that point. They put everything they had into the end of this show. That's why when you hear about Gainax, other than Neon being hard to watch or hard to find, its baby is Gurren.
Yeah.
They put their heart into this show.
I'm honestly wondering if Panning Stocking was made from like the scraps of Gurren.
It could be. It very well could be.
As far as I know, that was like the final Gainax production.
Did Panty come after Kill la Kill?
I think it came just before.
Just before. Okay, so then Kill la Kill might have been the last big thing, but yeah, it's man. And then those people that they all split with that went to Trigger. And man, there's something about Trigger I have to ask you about what we truly want to do, because me and Mike know the next show that we are going to do right after this one. And I have to ask him his personal opinion because I have 3 options in my head now for what we could do after the next one. Because it's either one that's totally fresh for both of us, or, well, 2 that are totally fresh for the both of us that are in the same subject and it's far away from this, or one that is got a little bit of controversy sent to it and it involves this company and Trigger. So we'll see. But
we'll talk
get
on
there.
air. Yeah, we'll talk off air about that.
Yeah. But yeah, this is my favorite first season of a show ever. And spoiler alert, the second one's my favorite second season and final season of a show ever either. Yeah, it's just, this show is gorgeous. Everything about it I love, from the characters down to the story beats to everything. And I cannot wait. We do these about, probably going to do 4 episodes again, if that's all right with you, on the next one. We get about a week.
I think we kind of have to.
Yeah, we get a week spacing in between these. So I get really giddy in the weeks leading up to it. And the energy that you started feeling after episode 8, where you're like, we should do 3 episodes. And it's like, we should do 4 episodes. That's going to be after every freaking episode now. Because the level of Kamina dying in episode 8 is just about every episode now. Because there is something that happens in episode 1 that is going to knock your socks clean off. If I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure it happens in episode 1, and then you're just going to be like, okay, what the actual hell? We're in episode 1 of the 2nd season. What is this? Why? And I can't wait. I just can't wait. But anyways, yeah, we're going to get going. This is going on 35 minutes. I was fully expecting that.
Worth it. We needed this time.
We needed this time because trust me, we might pull off an hour when it comes to the last one, because I am going to have you watch the only part that you need to watch of the second Gurren movie. And we're going to watch together on here before I actually turn the stream on, because I could share it between us before the actual thing comes on, just to show you that after it was all relaxed and they got budget back, the horse shit that occurs in that movie. Good horse shit, but it's horse shit. Oh my God. But yeah, Mike, I think it was going to be a very quick answer. Would you change anything about this last episode before we go away?
Nope.
Thought so. I thought that would be it, but I had to at least ask for continuity's sake. All right. Mike, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CaptainK482. Check out my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/CoachK482. Find me in all the various Facebook groups, just at my name. Check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Check out all our podcasts at Spotify, Anchor, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And you can find this and our other shows on renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we.
Yeah. All right, everybody, you can see me everywhere at Organoid0. I have not been streaming as much as normal because I felt like crap this week. With a lot of more streaming and recording as we've been, my voice was shot. And it's going to keep being that way because I love doing this, and now we've gotten a good recording plan down. So, all right, everybody, seriously, I cannot mention enough how much I love all of you that have watched this. Mike, so much for doing this with me. I've been wanting to review this show with someone for so damn long, and I would not want to review it with anybody else, buddy. So we will see you guys next time for season 2. Strap on your fucking seatbelts. That's all I got to say. We love you guys. Spin on. I'll see you later.
Peace.